Gunther thought he won the moment he signed that contract. He sat at that table, looked Nick Aldis directly in the eye, and saw exactly what he wanted to see. A former general manager stepping away from his position, a man putting everything on the line, a man willingly walking into the most dangerous fight of his career. To Gunther, it looked like victory was already guaranteed. But what if the biggest mistake Gunther made wasn't signing the contract? What if the biggest mistake was trusting the man who handed him the pen? Because while everyone is focused on Nick Aldis and Gunther, there is another name hiding in plain sight: Adam Pearce. The man who presented the contract, the man who took control of SmackDown, the man who has spent months dealing with Gunther's chaos, and the man who looked strangely calm after watching Aldis get driven through a table. That's the detail nobody can stop talking about. Because if Adam Pearce has been playing a long game this entire time, SummerSlam may become the night Gunther realizes he was walking into a trap all along. Stay until the end, because the final reveal changes everything. Welcome back to the Ringside Observer, the only channel that brings you the backstage secrets, the untold stories, and the chaos that WWE cameras never show you. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating theories heading into SummerSlam, a theory that suggests Adam Pearce could be the hidden factor in the war between Gunther and Nick Aldis. To understand why this theory has gained momentum, we need to go back to the contract signing. Most fans focused on the obvious story: Gunther humiliating Aldis, the table spot, the powerbomb, the crowd reaction. But sometimes the most important details aren't the loudest ones. Sometimes they're the details sitting quietly in the background. Adam Pearce personally introduced the terms. Adam Pearce oversaw the signing. Adam Pearce became the authority figure responsible for both brands. And when everything collapsed into chaos, Pearce wasn't shocked. He wasn't emotional. He wasn't angry. He simply watched. That alone raises questions, because Gunther hasn't exactly made Pearce's job easy over the last several months. Every suspension, every backstage incident, every confrontation, every time officials had to restore order, Pearce was the one cleaning up the mess. And that's where this story becomes interesting. What if Pearce isn't looking at Gunther as just another superstar? What if he's looking at him as a problem that needs to be solved? Where things stand right now, Gunther enters SummerSlam believing he has every advantage. He's physically dominant. He's more active in the ring. He's one of the most intimidating competitors in WWE. And after powerbombing Aldis through a table, his confidence may be higher than ever. But confidence can become dangerous when it blinds you. Because while Gunther is preparing for Aldis, he may not be paying attention to the people surrounding the match itself. And that's exactly where fans have started connecting the dots. Why has Pearce remained so measured? Why has he avoided making emotional statements? Why does he seem perfectly comfortable allowing this match to happen? Most authority figures in WWE history never stay neutral forever. Eventually, they choose a side. The question is whether Pearce already has. Before we go further, if you are enjoying this breakdown, smash that like button and hit subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel grow and keeps these videos coming. Now, back to the story. The first major reveal is that Adam Pearce may have more reason than anyone to want Gunther humbled. Think about everything we've seen. Gunther has embarrassed officials, ignored authority, created chaos whenever it suited him, and repeatedly forced management to react to his actions. That's not speculation. That's WWE television. So if Pearce sees Aldis as someone capable of stopping that cycle, suddenly his involvement becomes much more understandable, even if he never physically interferes, even if he never openly chooses a side. The possibility alone changes how fans view the match, because now every Pearce appearance becomes important. Every facial expression matters. Every decision matters. And that creates a completely different layer of suspense heading into SummerSlam. Then comes the twist. What if everyone is looking in the wrong direction? Fans are so focused on the idea of Pearce helping Aldis that they may be missing another possibility entirely. What if Pearce helps nobody? What if his role isn't to interfere but to create conditions where Gunther can no longer hide behind intimidation? Because that's what makes this rivalry compelling. For the first time in a long time, Gunther isn't facing someone he can simply bully into submission. Nick Aldis willingly gave up power to get this opportunity. That's not weakness, that's commitment. And whether he wins or loses, that decision has already changed how fans view him. Which brings us to the biggest star in this story, Gunther. The ring general has built his reputation on certainty. When Gunther enters a rivalry, he usually controls the narrative. He dictates the pace. He forces opponents to react. But this situation feels different, because uncertainty has entered the equation, and uncertainty is something Gunther rarely has to deal with. The moment he starts wondering whether someone else is pulling strings behind the scenes, his greatest advantage begins to disappear. That's why SummerSlam feels so unpredictable. Not because Gunther has become weaker, but because the board around him may be changing. Now let's get into 3 predictions. 1. SummerSlam. Adam Pearce remains completely neutral. Pearce allows the match to play out without interference, proving that all the theories surrounding him were simply fan speculation. Gunther and Aldis settle everything on their own. 2. SummerSlam. Adam Pearce indirectly helps Nick Aldis. Not through physical interference, but through a critical decision that prevents Gunther from bending the rules. The result gives Aldis the opening he needs to score the biggest victory of his career. 3. SummerSlam. Adam Pearce shocks everyone by becoming the deciding factor in the match. This is the bold prediction. If WWE wants a major talking point coming out of SummerSlam, Pearce could finally reveal where his loyalties truly lie, completely changing the future of SmackDown. One of these 3 things will happen. The only question is which one. Gunther believes his biggest obstacle is Nick Aldis. Adam Pearce may believe something very different. The contract has been signed. The fight is set. The war is coming. But sometimes the most dangerous person isn't the one standing in the ring. It's the one standing quietly on the outside, watching everything unfold. So here's the question. Is Adam Pearce secretly setting Gunther up for failure, or are fans reading too much into a series of coincidences ahead of SummerSlam? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time on the Ringside Observer.